Hello. So welcome to our class today. Um, Today we're doing kind of like a part two of different expressions with the word time. And the first one is from October 9th. So those of you who are watching the video, if you want, you can look back at part one. We're going to be doing a little bit of review today as well. So let me just make sure this is all set up. And I'm sure everyone's learning lots of vocabulary from me setting up my the broadcast, the presentation. Vocabulary for time. Sorry, the computer's moving. And share. Okay. Let's double check. So vocabulary time. Good. So these are things that we saw last time, but I want to very quickly go over that because from October, November, December, January, it's been about 3.5 months since we've seen this vocabulary. So what I'd like to do here is maybe, Rafael, could you please read number 1, the expression and the meaning, please?
1. Long time no see. A way of greeting a person you haven't seen in a while.
Exactly. So there's really, how do I say this? There's really nothing here that is kind of strange, I guess. Long time no see. There's no grammar. We have long, an adjective, time, noun, and then no see, which no see doesn't really sound good because we're used to hearing I don't see or I haven't seen, for example. So there's no grammar here, and so this is just literally an expression that we have. Any questions or comments on this one? Long time no see.
Yeah, I heard. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Sorry. I heard this expression came from Pigeon English from Hawaii. So maybe
Really?
Chinese draft. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So that's why grammatical no sense.
Well, thanks for that information. I had no idea. Well, actually, that's pretty interesting. And Rafael, what was your comment?
I would just comment about the fact that most of these expressions doesn't have to be grammatically correct. Is that right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, they're just expressions, you know. They don't really mean anything. They don't have to, they're not literal meanings here.
Okay.
So good. Great. Well, why don't we go ahead and look at number 2? Because number 1, honestly, a way of greeting, saying hello to someone you haven't seen in a while. There's really nothing more here. Sometimes not these expressions, but sometimes expressions can mean more than one thing. In this case, in these cases, actually, not really. So Ken, why don't you go home? Why don't you go ahead and read number 2? Don't go home. Are you home? You're at home, aren't you?
Yeah. So but anyway.
Feels like a Friday or a Monday today.
So and sorry, 2 and 3 you said. Which number? Sorry.
Number 2. Sorry, I can't move my mouse fast enough to unmute myself that fast.
Save time. When you do something that is quicker in order to reserve time for the next thing.
Okay, so how else could we say this? I mean, there's a very long definition here. We could say it differently with some synonyms.
Hurry up.
Any idea? Well, hurry up is kind of like, come on, let's go. You know, we don't have a lot of time. That's more hurry up. When you do something that is quicker, you're saving time in the fact that you're more efficient. So, this could, definitely a different meaning. This could be something like, for example, like before we started class, I was writing myself a note and still continuing the conversation with you too. Or let's say you are on the phone, but you're using hands free, so you can sweep the floor, for example,
yes,
at the same time.
right.
So yeah, I would say
Multitasking.
this is exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. Have we heard that expression before?
Yeah, especially current technology made force us to be multitasking, especially to
It
computer,
does.
internet. Yeah. So,
Mm-hmm. No, I absolutely agree with that. There's so much that we have to get done in one day, and we're only one person. And
right.
so we just have to do many things, especially parents, people who have children. Their life must be very complicated. And I remember when I was working a lot and, I had to be in many places throughout the day. And so I had to go from one place to another, and I was always worried about the time. And then at night, I'd be like, oh no, I have this class tomorrow, this class, I have to prepare this. So there was a lot of extra preparation, well, as any teacher. So,
Mhm.
and that was super stressful. So I don't even want to imagine people with children. So,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
mhm. Well, good. All right. Rafael, any comments about saving time?
No, I just wanted to listen again the similar expression episode. You mentioned something about sweep the fur. I don't know exactly.
Okay. Sweep the floor is when
Oh, the
you
floor.
Yeah, sweep the floor. I
Okay.
probably said it quick. So, good. So we understand that now?
Okay, so this expression has the same meaning of save time.
No, 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 no. My example is that you use your hands-free phone. For example, you're talking to your sister on the phone, but instead of using your hand to hold the phone next to you, you use a headset. For example, the white thing that I have on. My mom said I look like a pilot. And I'm like, thanks, Mom. She's like, well, it's not bad, but I don't really need to look like a pilot. so so anyway, the headset, and then you also have your hands free, you can use your hands, and so you also sweep the floor at the same time.
Okay, okay,
So it's doing two things at the same time, or three things, I don't know. So does that
okay.
work?
Yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
Perfect, perfect. Well, Rafael, it's actually your turn to read number 3.
Make time to find the time to do something.
Have we heard of this before? And I'm going to
Uh,
say no as, yep.
I've heard make your time, not make time. Make your time. It means that you have uh, the time you need for to do something. I don't know. Is it something like that?
Make your time.
Exactly.
Make your time. Take your time.
Yeah, take your time. Sorry, I just
That's
confused.
okay. Well, it's obviously for one letter and 3 other words that are almost the same. Um, yeah, take your time is like, okay, I'm trying to think of an example, and I'm like, I can't think of anything. You're like, don't worry, take your time. There's no hurry here. Just relax. So take your time is like, it's okay. Don't worry. There's no hurry, there's no rush. Just take all the time you need. If you need 10 seconds or 10 minutes, take your time. So good. I like that expression. So can any questions or comments for number 3? Because I have a situation which I'm going to share. So if you'd like to say something first.
Yeah, maybe I say managing. I would say manage the time.
Not exactly the same. Similar,
Okay.
very similar.
Mhm.
To make time, for example, I have such a busy schedule today, but I have to make time to eat lunch. I have to eat lunch at some point today, even if it's super early or super late.
Mhm.
but I have to find the time to eat lunch.
Okay.
Okay. There's kind of an expression. It says if someone is special to you, they will make time for you. This goes,
Mhm.
and I'm going to use the stereotypical situation of when a guy, at least we're not in the same place. No, there's, the stereotypical, a girl likes a boy, the boy doesn't respond to text messages. And it's like, okay, if he thought you were very special, he would make time, he would respond to those messages. So, young
Yes.
love. Um,
But anyway,
is that a, is that a good example or a bad example?
yeah, I think so. Actually, current youngsters, especially, they are sensitive about replying message because of,
Yeah.
messages kind of almost endless. Yeah, they are
Mhm.
chatting. Yes.
Exactly. So again, I mean, and then you have the people who forget to respond. But in general, if
Right.
if someone is important to you, you're going to make time for them. Just like my example of eating lunch. Eating lunch is important, and you should always make time for that. So
Mm.
good. Any other comments?
No, thank you.
Perfect. So, oh, Ken, don't mute yourself quite yet because number 4, you can read. Okay.
Okay. Time is money. Your time is a valuable commodity.
Mm-hmm. You've
Mhm.
seen that before, Ken. Could you explain that to us a little more?
Because we cannot buy time. So have maybe useful kind of using time, spending time is priceless.
Ooh, very good word.
Mhm.
Yes, that's true. I do agree with that. Raphael, would you like to say anything?
No, my thoughts are very similar.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Um, time is money. Like you said, time is time is important. And so it's just kind of when we work. And I think we could relate this to someone who works an hourly job. So if one day you work from 4 to 7, you are paid from 4 to 7. If you work 5 to 9, you're paid from 5 to 9. And so that's someone who makes an hourly rate. Hourly rate. So I wrote that in the chat box. And so I kind of think it has something to do with that. Like if we go to the doctor's office and we have to sit and wait for 2 hours, it's like, come on, my time is valuable. And actually, because of the not very great public healthcare here in Spain, it's good. It's just I went to the doctor and like, oh no, the appointments are like an hour behind. Okay, so I went and did something. I went back and they said, oh no, now your time has passed, so you have to wait to the end. And I'm like, so, I just said, I can't sit here for an hour and a half waiting to see the doctor. I have things to do. So, as it says, your time is valuable. Does that make sense? Lots of little stories for me today. Good. Okay. Let's see here, Raphael. It's your turn, right? No, Raphael. Ken. Wait. 2, 4. Yeah, Raphael. It's number 5 because you started. So.
Too much time on your hands. You have too much time and not enough things to do.
So if we could think of some synonyms for this, what would we say?
Uh, I am, I don't know,
Bored, maybe? If you have too much time on your hands, you're bored, basically. As it says, you have too much time, so you have basically, let's say, all Saturday, and you only have to clean the bathroom, for example. Well, it's not going to take 24 hours to clean the bathroom. So you might be bored This kind of has a negative connotation in which, that you're bored. Because if you have too much time on your hands, well, you might say it as, oh, I have too much time on my hands, or I will have too much time on my hands. On Saturday, I might go to the cinema. So it kind of depends how you say it, but normally there's kind of like, I'm bored. There's nothing to do. So not very positive. Ken, do you have any experience with this phrase?
Yeah, definitely, yes. Sometimes I feel too much time on my hands. So also maybe feeling reflect to this issue, even though maybe sometimes if I have too much time, I spend a time for something productive or maybe watching movies or anyway. So, but yeah, sometimes it happens to me as well.
Okay, good. Well, you can also read number 6. So don't mute yourself.
Okay, okay. To have a way of a time to have a great time. Yeah.
So, like I said the last time we did this is not an expression that I use. I'm going to say then that it's more British English, but I don't know. Have either of you heard of this expression before? I mean, Ken, you saw it in the last class, but
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Rafael?
I don't remember I've heard this sentence before. I don't think so.
Okay. No, that's fine. It's just like I said, this is not a very common sentence for me. Ken, more than 99% sure you were in the class that we did in
I
October.
remember.
So, I'm
Mhm.
sure we spoke about this. But yeah, for me this was something that isn't very common. So, have a whale of a time, have a great time. And the last one, Rafael, if you want to read that, that would be fantastic.
To take time off, to take a holiday from work.
Exactly. So next month, so everyone knows, it won't affect my schedule with the classes, but I'm taking some time off and I'm going to Barcelona. So I'm very excited, actually. So good. Any questions about taking time off? It's for holidays only. It's not if you're sick. And you're like, oh, I have to take some time off. No, you have a personal day or a sick day in that case. But to take some time off is to literally go on holiday.
Does it work? Does it also work for periods, smaller periods of time, maybe some hours or minutes? I'm extremely busy with something, but I have to do something and I need some time off.
Okay,
So
sure, yeah. In that case, I would say I need the afternoon off. Because otherwise it sounds like it's a couple of days. Oh, I need to take the morning off, or I need to take a couple hours off. You take a couple hours off. So it depends on the context, but definitely you can change the part where it says time. Okay, so you can be more specific.
for instance, I have to take some time off. I'm extremely busy today, but I have to take some time off. Is that okay?
No, it sounds like you're going to take some days or weeks off of work.
Okay.
You can also say, I have some things to do today. I'm leaving work early today. I'm leaving work early today, or I'm coming in late tomorrow, for example, if you're going to do things in the morning. Work. Any questions with that?
No, thank you.
Okay. Ken, questions or comments?
I know the song called 2 Months Off, which means 2 months day off.
Well, 2 months holiday.
Okay, wow, nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
I got
wouldn't
it.
that
Yes,
be
thank
nice? No problem. Well, let's go to the next page very quickly. Oh, number 8. I'll read this quickly. To do time means to be in prison, and that's it. To do time is you are either punished, but basically it always means that you're in prison. So hopefully we don't have to use that one. And now we need to go through these quickly as well so we can get to some activities. Let's see. Ken, why don't you start this time? Because Raphael read the first time last time. Anyway, we'll switch off. You can read number 1, okay?
Number 1. To call time when you decide it is time to end something. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like a time out, I suppose. To call time. He just called time. It's the end of the game, the match, something like that.
Also, sometimes it is said, call it a day. Call it a day. Yeah, to end something. To finish something.
Exactly. For example, I'm going to call it a day is I'm finished. I'm done for it. For the rest of the day, I'm finished. So very good. Raphael, why don't you go ahead and read number 2 for us?
Time of your life when you are having a wonderful time experience.
Yeah. So Raphael, can you tell us the time of your life or one moment in which you were having the time of your life?
I believe that was when I graduated from university, when I have, because it was a sense of overcoming, because I had to struggle to finish my studies, and it was a time of your life when you were at the ceremony and receiving our diploma. So it was one of the times of my life.
Absolutely. Well, very good. And again, yeah, kind of as you said it could be a longer period of your time. My first year of university. My first year of university was great. Or it could be something more specific, as in, last night I had the time of my life. So it depends on that, on the context. But yeah, basically you had a great time, long or short period. Okay.
I have a quick question about call time.
Yeah.
Can I use this for shorter pauses, or maybe when I had to pause a specific action, or may I call time? I need some time, or I'm gonna call time just for 10 minutes. Is that okay?
I don't think so. I'd say I'm taking a time out. I'm taking a break. I need 10 minutes. I wouldn't use call time in that situation. This is something that you would use for more sports. Okay, not for moments in your life necessarily.
Okay.
Okay, good. So one of the only times I don't ask if there's any questions or comments, of course you have one. Anything else before we go to number 3, which Ken is going to read for us?
No, thank you.
No.
Yeah, just let me know when you have any questions. All right, Ken, read 3, please, for us.
Good. To be pressed for time, you are in a hurry due to a deadline or a tight schedule.
What's a tight schedule? And either of you can answer. A tight schedule.
Hard schedule.
A hard schedule? How? Are you physically working hard?
Maybe sometimes physically, but usually kind of hard to manage the time. A lot of work during a short period.
Okay, that's a little bit better. You're working a lot. You don't have a lot of time to do things. Sure. But there's still there. Basically, you have no time to do anything else. Whereas before we said we have to make time for lunch, you have a tight schedule if you have to make time for lunch. It's just, you have maybe one meeting, and then after that, you have 10 minutes to get to another meeting. Then you have to go back to your desk and check emails. Then you have to go. Just a very tight schedule is that you're non-stop.
Right. Yes.
Okay. And Raphael, do you think you could answer what a deadline is?
It's the due date, maybe. It is
Mm-hmm.
specifically you have
Yes.
to finish something.
Yeah, you have to finish something. Yes, I like that definition because a deadline we have for an essay or a paper or something like that for school normally, or maybe for work, obviously, as well. Oh, write this report. The deadline is Friday at 3, for example. A due date refers more to someone being pregnant. So someone's due date would be the date that they think the baby is going to be born, or that it's going to be at 9 months, or full term. So a little bit different, but yes. Questions, comments? Right. In that case, Rafael, it is your turn to read number 4.
No time like the present. When you believe something is better done now than later.
Mm-hmm. So in what kind of situation could we use this?
Uh, there is no time like the present in terms of traveling by airplanes.
Okay, good. Yeah. It's kind of like, well, why not? Let's do it. No time like the present. It could be something sporadic or spontaneous. Maybe you're with a friend and you said, "Oh, next week I'm thinking about buying a new bicycle," for example. I'm like, "Well, we have some time now. No time like the present. Let's go look at them." So it's something that, you think is best to do in that moment. Excuse me. Or you just have nothing else to do, so you should do it in that moment. Ken, any questions or comments on this?
No, no. Yeah, I got the
Okay.
concept. Yep.
All right. Good. Well, why don't you go ahead and read number 5 then, okay?
Okay. For the time being, when something is temporary.
Have you ever heard this expression used?
Yes, I think so. For the time being.
Do you have any idea how? How it's used?
Mm, Maybe train stopped due to the heavy rain for the time being.
Okay, yeah, perfect. So maybe they need to stop for just a little bit. Oh, but for right now, I'm just going to put it here, or it's going to be here, for example. Good, Rafael. Any questions or comments?
No, thank you.
All right, good. How about you read the next one then, okay?
Okay, to be behind the times, something that is old-fashioned.
Mhm. Have you ever heard this expression, Rafael?
Uh, I don't think so. I've heard about the opposite, not to be ahead of your time or to be ahead
Um,
of the time, but not behind.
okay, yeah, absolutely. To be ahead of your time. Very good. So, yeah, this is the opposite. Ken, any comments here about this? To be behind the times?
Yeah, I know the expression yet to behind the time. For example, I heard the word groovy is behind the time now.
It, maybe in your younger days it was the cool thing to say, but nowadays definitely not.
Still, groovy is cool in Japan. Groovy music or something like that. For yeah, people sometimes say so.
Well,
Groovy
that to me
music.
is the 70s. So, considering I wasn't even alive, very old fashioned for me. so,
Mhm.
so good. All right. I was probably not even I was definitely not even thought of at that point. In the early 70s, I should say, because my parents got married
But
in the 70s.
groovy music, which means funky music, like what dance music, that
You're
things.
killing me,
Or
Ken. Yes. I'm sorry,
usually
continue.
Japanese groovy music for funk or such dance music. So maybe people don't say groovy music for rock music. Maybe
Absolutely
I don't
not.
know. Okay,
No.
I got it. Yes.
No,
Okay.
no, no. No, to me, if you say that's groovy music, it's from the 70s, and I wouldn't even know which groups to tell you would be groovy. That
Maybe
can't.
disco. Okay. Maybe I got it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
hmm Yeah, that word doesn't come out of my mouth like ever. Okay. Great. So actually, Ken, it looks like you're the next. You have to read number
I got
7.
Okay. To not give someone the time of day. To be disinterested in or ignore someone.
Mm-hmm. So basically, for example, if I'm here and Raphael's trying to ask a question every 2 minutes and I'm just ignoring him, that would be me not giving him the time of day. I'm not allowing him to express himself, ask questions, or anything.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
well,
Okay.
very good. Questions or comments before we move on, because we only have 20 minutes left. And so last time we talked about this. Let me just double check. I think we had spoken about that. Time round 2. Okay. These where is my okay. Okay, so yeah, that's what we did last time. Sorry, I should have checked this just to be sure before. The level. All right. So basically what we need to do is take a look at this page, and this is just using those expressions that we saw. All right. So for example, have you ever called time on a project? Maybe you had a project to do for school, and I think, Ken, this might be similar to like call it a day. Just because
Mhm.
call time, I never call time. Call time to me is for sports. Like, let me check here. Come on.
Maybe sounds like referee calling the time, to stop the game or something.
Yeah, see, and
Hmm.
that's what I think of it as. Let's see. Well, I'm looking at word reference, and it says something about like when a bar closes at night, and so they call time. To me, they call last call. So that's, or it's 2. Um, okay, there's a virus on my phone. Fantastic. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's not good. Cool. I'm gonna have to talk to my husband. Okay, so I can't look at word reference anymore on my phone. If I open a website, the the internet connection at the Google Chrome doesn't work perfectly. So that's why I was using my phone. There's also one to put an end or stop to something.
Mhm.
So if you stop doing the project or something like that, I suppose that
Mhm.
would also work. But maybe we should do the next one. What kind of experience would make you feel as if you were having the time of your life? So we did mention that. Rafa said, when he was in school, maybe even graduating. Ken, what about you?
Okay. It feels if you are having time of the life, maybe for when I the plane arrived to the Texas Dallas Fort Worth airport.
Okay.
I I get out the plane and I saw the America for the first time,
Dun, dun, dun,
and then
dun.
I heard Spanish people speaking. I left America, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Welcome to the USA.
Yeah, so, yeah, maybe that's a kind of totally new experience to me. Yeah, kind of having the time of my life. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? It happened to me when I was first here in Spain as well, having the time of my life and experiencing a new life, culture, language, etc. So I definitely can agree with you on that one. Raphael, why don't you answer number 3 when it says, when were you last pressed for time?
I was pressed for time when I had to finish a project, to complete the project. Although our boss was always changing the scope, so I had to work. I had to do a lot of work, do a lot of overtime to finish the work and to conclude it in time. So there's a lot of pressure, and it was very difficult in order to conclude it.
Okay, so it's not because you were procrastinating, it was just because your boss kept changing everything on you. Okay.
Exactly. I hope he's not watching this broadcast.
Only time will tell. Oh, look at that, a new expression. Only time will tell. It's a matter of time. Time will tell. If you see your boss, today or tomorrow, and your boss doesn't say anything, then probably not. So there are no viewers at the moment. So if your boss does look at this, it will be a different day. So, but I think that it happens in all, companies. There's always something. Oh, you have to do this by this time. So good. Well, why don't we take a look at number 4? Ken, when contemplating tasks you do, do you hold the opinion that there is no time like the present?
Contemplating tests. Hold opinion.
That's my first question. Do you understand the question?
No, contemplating. What is?
Oh, good question. Rafa, do you understand what that is? Contemplating?
It's to see tasks. Is it to face tasks? Is that something like that?
No, it's more like thinking. When you're thinking about tasks or things to do. So basically thinking in this case. Contemplating is just kind of a fancy word. So thinking. So when you're thinking about doing something, do you have or hold the opinion that there's no time like the present, or do you prefer to plan things out, do them at a later date? Ken?
Oh, sorry.
Do you understand now?
Hold the opinion that there is no time. And there's no time like the present. Maybe how can I say to how can I, for example, writing thesis. It has a do or writing papers. So yeah, it has a career do. Sometimes I had to do like this. No time like the present. Makes sense.
I think I understand the general concept of that. But this is a bit more specific. In general, do you think that are you kind of a spontaneous person?
Somewhat, yes.
It depends on the situation. So, for example, if you're with your friends later today and someone says, "Hey, let's go get tattoos," what is your response going to be?
No way.
No way, Jose. Yeah, okay. So
Okay.
or sometimes or maybe if your friends are going to do it, maybe, "Oh, no time like the present. Let's go get tattoos. I've always wanted one," for example. So that obviously depends on the person, but contemplating tasks is a little bit more, I would say, serious of having to do things, not because you necessarily because you really want to.
Mhm.
But let's say you're bored one day and you're like, I think I'll go jump off a bridge, for example.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, things like that. So no,
Mm.
you don't. I don't really share that opinion either. No
Mhm.
time like the present. No, I'm not a very sporadic
Ah,
crazy.
I think maybe I got the example. For example, pyramid scheme. You know,
Okay.
yeah, maybe the people who are doing recommending pyramid scheme, maybe they might say this kind of thing. Seize the day, no time like the present, no risk, no return.
Exactly. This is gonna be those crazy sales. Well, I shouldn't say that. Sorry, the salesmen that are really trying to get you to do something. Well, this is the best time to do it. Let's go. Everything is on sale. You should buy now.
Right,
That
right.
kind of thing. Yeah, definitely. So it's a little bit different context, but yeah, definitely in the same moment.
Mhm.
Rafael, any questions or comments about this one?
To be honest, I haven't got it yet the meaning of this statement. I still try to figure out what does contemplating means in this sentence. It's a little bit blurry for me so far.
Okay, perfect. So, sorry. It moved on me. Okay. So, no time like the present. When you believe something is better done now than later, than. So, basically, it's best to do something now and not wait. Well, your car needs to get fixed. You go in and they say, hey, you need to change your oil. Do you want to do it today or do you prefer to wait? No time like the present. Let's do it today. Does that make sense? Does that help a little?
No, it helped me. I'm just trying to
Yeah, understand it a little better.
uh, how can you contemplate the biggest my biggest problem is how to understand to contemplate tasks. I didn't got it yet.
So basically, it's saying, when you think about doing things, let's put that into kind of more normal English. Doing something, do you think, or is your opinion that there's no time like the present? So in general, are you very kind of spontaneous and say, hey, let's do this. Oh, let's go there. Oh, I need to do this. Does that work?
Okay. So it's
No?
about the fact. It's about the fact of being spontaneous. Is that
Kind of. It's for me, it's kind of a good word to use. Just because you think, well, now's a good time. I'm not doing anything. I'm not busy. Now sounds like a good time to do something.
so? That's the definition of contemplate task.
Well, to contemplate is no, contemplate is to think. When you're thinking about tasks, about things to do, tasks are things to do. Um, Ken, why don't you help me out here? Maybe I'm not saying something correctly.
Mm, Actually, I
I
don't.
mean, do you
Sorry,
understand
I don't
actually?
get. I mean, contemplating business career. Student completing
Contemplate.
business career. Mhm. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I'm looking. Contemplate is consider a possibility to think about. It could be that you're physically looking at something you're contemplating. Um, Consider a course of action. Consider a plan that you have. So consider or think is contemplating.
Considered task. Considering task.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got it.
Does that help then?
Mm,
Yeah, it helped
yes.
me. So it means the question. The meaning of the question is that it is better thinking of the present, thinking of performing a task in the present than procrastinating. Is that right?
Well, it's not necessarily procrastinating because that's intentionally waiting or putting something off. It's basically instead of doing things later, you think it's best to do things in the present, in the time, in the moments in which you have time.
Okay.
Does that
Okay.
help?
It is clear now. Thank you.
Okay. So now my question for you, Raphael, is do you agree or disagree with this statement?
Well, it is relative. It depends on the situation. It depends on the type of task, and maybe there's a lot of factors involved while choosing someone so specific task to do or not. It is it is
Mm-hmm.
relative.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, my example, for example, you're with your friends and someone says, I want to get a tattoo. And someone else says, well, no time like the present. Let's go. You know, that's probably either a good or bad time to get a tattoo is in the present when you're actually bored or something like that. So, but if you don't do it now, maybe you're too afraid to do it later. Something like that, or maybe you will procrastinate and never do something. So I agree with you. It depends on the situation, definitely. If someone
Yeah.
says, hey, I want some ice cream, and the other person says, no time like the present, let's go get some. That's not a bad idea. So unless they're lactose intolerant. So things like that. So good. Well, perfect. Well, with the 5 minutes we have left, let's go ahead and look at the next page here. Okay, so when would someone use the expression for the time being? I don't remember whose turn it was, but either of you can answer this. There's no problem there. Time being. I think Ken, you read the definition before. Raphael, do you maybe want to, do you understand this sentence, this question?
I think so. It means uh, at the right time, and maybe at the present, and maybe maybe it's for someone who's uh, is doing some activity at a specific moment, right now, rather than in the future. I think.
Yeah, it's kind of that. So, for example, I just got home. I'm in a hurry. For the time being, I'm going to leave my books on the table, but after I get done with my class, I'll come back and move them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So basically temporary. You know, for right now I'm super super busy. I don't have time to put my books away. I'm going to put them here for a moment for an hour and then when I come back, I'll put them away. Okay. When Ken said funky and groovy, I can definitely describe a person or an object that is behind the times. Not that you're behind the times, but in the moment that you said that, yes. Any other examples that you can think of? I mean, older people in general, yeah.
Disco. Nowadays, people say clubs for discos.
Really?
Yeah, disco is, I think, is all behind the time. The word disco. People say
Yeah,
club.
I can you write
Yeah,
it?
go to the club.
Maybe I'm behind the times and I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
That could happen
Maybe
too.
you know this disco music. Nowadays, people say club
Club.
music. Such kind
Well,
of funky, kind of techno or the hip hop, rap, dance.
house music.
Yeah, house. But in my impression, house is a 90s thing. Nowadays, club music. I don't know exactly, but
Apparently, we're not. I don't know if we're on the same page. Sure. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't know. I don't go to clubs anymore. Going to clubs for me is behind the times. No, that's a lie because that does happen sometime. No, that is a lie. I haven't gone for a long time. Yeah, behind the times. My parents are a little behind the times with technology and social media and stuff like that. So, all right, good. Well, this last one here is going to be for Rafael, or if Ken, you want to also comment. Number 7 says, in what kind of situation would you be forced to not give someone the time of day? This is a kind of strange question because it seems a little negative to me. But go ahead, Rafa.
Well, maybe when someone knocks your door just to sell things, things you probably never use them, and you're forced to give them attention, and it's sometimes very annoying because you have plenty of things to do, and this person uh, does not stop talking, and you have to to send them away. But you're it's a kind of rude if you do that. But sometimes you are forced to do some
Mm-hmm.
to do some other take some other measures you don't like. But unfortunately, that's what happens when you don't want to give someone the time of the day.
I think that is a great situation. So, with that, sorry, Ken, we're going to finish for today. Let me stop screen sharing. And on Monday, it looks from what I can remember, hello, is that we are going to let me find the schedule here quick. Let's see. Next Wednesday, the 31st of January, we're going to be talking about you and they for general speaking. And so next Monday, having a conversation, work role plays. So I'm going to have some fun situations. Hopefully they're fun, in which we can talk about work in different situations and things. Yep, Ken, you're right. Let's call it a day for English learning time. And that's it. So thanks for joining and have a great weekend. Enjoy your days, okay?
Okay. So you too. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Ken. All right, bye, Rafa. Thanks for coming.
Bye. Take a little rest if you.
I'm going to. I need 30